What's happening, guys? It's your boy, the Chevy Nerd. Welcome back to the channel. I have some awesome news. Finally, it has arrived. The 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe, and we lucked out. We got 2 units in, one sold in 3 hours. I have this one here. I lucked out that I was able to film before it sold. So we're gonna be taking a look at, right behind me, the new 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe Z71. Stay tuned for this episode of the Chevy Nerd. Pow! All right, guys. Let's take a look at the new 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe. Let's talk about a little bit of the upgrades that we've received here when it comes to performance, the new lineup of engines. Now, the other thing too that we have to remember is that there's several models of these. Right here behind me, we have the Z71. And what I'm gonna do here on the Chevy Nerd is we're gonna cover each individual one on a full video. So stay tuned for the next episode of the Chevy Nerd when we get in some of the things like the high country model, LTZ, or Premier as we call it now, and our standard LT models. Those are going to be a treat. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the options and availability on this particular model. So when it comes to the new Tahoe, we actually have a total of 3 powertrains available on this model here. Okay, we're going to start off with our most popular model, which is the 5.3 liter engine V8. So that sucker has been in our family of cars for a long time, and it's still reliable. What we say, if it ain't broken, why fix it? Now, there is subtle upgrades onto the new technology here on the 5.3 liter engine, now including, like we did on our Silverado models, the dynamic fuel management system. So that's going to be integrated in this new system here. Now, a couple other things that they've changed, thanks to a couple regulations with government, emissions, all that jazz, we now also have the automatic start and stop technology, which can be disabled with a simple press of a button. There's also a couple of other accessories available out online. That's up to you to decide whether you want to use it or not. So keep an eye on that. Now, with the 5.3 liter V8, we are doing a whopping 355 horsepower. Plenty of horsepower for what you're looking into performance. And then on this guy here, we are also whopping it with a 383 foot-pound of torque. Sorry about that. But it's got plenty of power, and paired up with the new 10-speed transmission, it is a smooth and quiet drive. I took it out before we started the video, and my first impressions are it has a better pickup and go, the shifts are more precise, and it definitely gives you more of that confidence in driving that you have that power, so that torque really comes into play at lower shifting points, which is phenomenal. Now, on a couple other powertrains, we have the 6.2 liter engine, and that one we're going into a total of 420 horsepower and a total of 460 foot-pound of torque, which is phenomenal. Great performance. Those are going to be available on pretty much every model. It is an upcharge, obviously, to go into the 6.2 liter engine there. It will be a standard one when it comes to the high country trim level. So make sure to keep an eye on that, is the high country trim level will come with an automatic 6.2 liter engine. Now, there is a third and brand new model this year, which is the 3.0 diesel inline-6 engine. Phenomenal engine. We've used it already on the half tons, and now we're moving in here, but we're upgrading it even further. We're going into a new proprietary transmission to the Chevrolet Tahoe, and you're going to have a 10-speed automatic transmission on the new Tahoe paired up with your 3.0 liter turbo. What is really surprising about this engine is it's giving us a 277 horsepower, but it is matching the absolute powerhouse of the 460 foot-pound of torque that the 6.2 liter delivers. But one of the things that it's going to change is your pocket. fuel economy is going to skyrocket. Once we get one of the new 3.0 liter diesels, we'll do a full video review on that and go through some of its quirks and features as well. So a lot of really cool upgrades when it comes to the new Tahoe. Now, another thing that is different this year is, we'll cover it in our interior video, but we'll kind of bring it up a little bit, is the change in suspension. Completely different. In the previous era of the Chevrolet Tahoes, and I'll try to put up some pictures on there, you're going to have a single axle suspension in the back, okay? So that portion takes a lot of room. Now on this new model, you're going to have a completely independent rear suspension. That is going to go ahead and increase the size, the space, the room, a lot of things about this new Chevrolet Tahoe. Adding an increased amount of footroom in the third row. For someone like me, being about 6 foot tall, can fit in perfectly fine. So a lot of really cool things on here too. Now, the other really neat thing is that we're going to have several different suspension options this time around with the Chevrolet Tahoe. We're going to have a standard suspension. We're also going to have the magnetic ride suspension, and then a brand new one that we've used for our off-road vehicles, especially on the Z71s. Some have them, some don't, and that is going to be the air ride suspension. Really awesome. We're going to cover it in more detail when it comes to the Z71 with it, and I'll be able to show it to you live as well once we get that model. But essentially what it is you can go ahead and increase the height of your vehicle for a total of 2 inches. You can also decrease the height 2 inches below as well to allow for an easy passive entry, and as well as at higher speeds above 64 miles per hour, it actually lowers down to eliminate drag and give you better aerodynamics. So a lot of really cool stuff has been done into the new Chevrolet Tahoe. Really exciting stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these safety features that this particular Tahoe has. Now, this one being a Z71, we're going to have things such as forward collision detection, lane keep assist, rear parking sensors, a lot of really neat features packed in one punch. So it's a phenomenal vehicle right there on its own. Now, when it comes to this, we're still looking at a very powerful engine. And as well as for a lot of the families that like to take camping trips and stuff like that, this is exactly what you need as a powerhouse to go out to those trips. So on something like these, you're going to be able to tow confidently weights around up to 8,000 pounds or even a little bit more, depending on the package that you get. So that's a lot of the upgrades that we've seen on this particular Chevrolet Tahoe. So keep an eye out as we walk around the Tahoe and see all of its quirks and features, and I'll dive in a little bit more into detail. Also, stay tuned for the second episode of the Chevy Nerd, which will include the interior of the brand new 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe. All right, guys, let's get nerdy and let's check this puppy out. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do a walkthrough of the new Chevrolet 2021 Tahoe Z71. We lucked out and we have this model here. I wanted to go over the exterior of it, and oh my, I just have to say they really outdid themselves this time. The pictures definitely do not make it justice. This is an awesome remodel with an increase in size. We actually increase storage capacity up on this guy up to 30% from the last model, which is huge. So let's take a look at a couple of the exterior features, and let's see what this new styling is all about. Z71 on this particular model is going to have an exclusive front end, as you're seeing here. Let's take a closer look. You see that nice aggressive daylight running light right through there, and then you're going to have the HID beams right up front. Now, we're taking a look at this one here. This one's the shadow gray metallic. A really awesome color. Gives it a really good shine there. But paired up with this one, we're going to have a darker styled chrome right through the center there, matched up with the black bow tie, of course, giving it that classy look and sporty look to it. And then one of the things that we've consistently seen on some of the other models is kind of like that front grille that really resembles a lot of the sportiness about Chevrolet, especially with the Camaro, and they really made it pop on this one for sure. Now let's take a look here. We have the Z71 badging going right through there, really letting everybody know what you're driving. And then right down here, we're going to see the difference between the Z71s and some of the other models. Right towards the front, you see that the beginning of that skid plate protector right towards the front. It extends all the way down underneath, so definitely want to take a look at that. We're also going to see on this Z71 more of the off-road tires. You're going to have a little bit more of that rugged tire tread there, and they pair up with this fantastic rim. It really makes it pop, especially with the dark accents that you have here. So you're going to see two different colors. You're going to have the shadow gray metallic there, and then you're going to have that black bumper there. So really awesome setup there, and very similar to the Silverados. You're going to have that little wind tunnel there for aerodynamics. Really awesome setup. Makes it really look nice. Now, let's go ahead and keep looking around through the body of the vehicle there. You're going to see some hazard lighting there as well. Let's go ahead and take a look here. As we go around, the Z71 is going to have more of that Nerf bar set up with the running board, especially for the off-road purpose there. Obviously, you're going to have disc brakes on both the rear and the front. So the lines on this car are just phenomenal. I just can't stop looking at it. So right through here, Z71 is going to have that nice black trim right through the sides there, really making it nice and having that nice opposing colors. This will probably look awesome when it comes to a white and black. I can't wait to see something like that. I think it'll look really nice. A little bit of an adjustment on the mirrors this year. They definitely look a little bit different. They're popping a little different there, but it really gives it more of that sporty aesthetic look to it as well. You're going to have lighting here, and towards the bottom here on this particular model, you're going to see that camera right through there. Really cool little setup there. Now on here, we're going to have the blind zone detector on this particular model. Easy passive entry through there. Really cool little setup. Our classy shark fin that really resembles the antenna for the for OnStar. But let's go ahead and keep taking a look back here. Really cool design on this model. It really looks different. My favorite part about it is actually the rear. I know a lot of my colleagues that watch this video are going to make fun of me about that, but the design is awesome. In comparison to the last model, we go ahead and take a look at this this piece right here that really accentuates the look of the back of the Tahoe. You're going to have the Chevrolet emblem there, and really aggressively just displaying right there, Tahoe. A really neat setup through there. This particular model is going to have the automatic rear liftgate, but we'll cover that a little bit more when it comes to the interior and some of its other features there. So one thing that was interesting about this year's model is they did not display kind of like the trucks, like the exhausts. So this one was kind of neat. So looking at it, it just really looked a little different to me. But what you'll notice is the exhaust is actually right underneath there. So kind of different there. Now underneath too, you're going to notice a huge difference. And this is what changed drastically in the new Chevrolet Tahoe. We're going to go into a rear independent suspension, allowing for an increased amount of room inside, and definitely a lot more availability in the third row. Now, a couple quick things that I find kind of neat on this vehicle is the attention to detail that they have on certain things. Now let's take a look at the headlights here. This was really cool. First of all, we're going to have the LED headlighting here. Why LED versus other standard lighting? Why? It's faster and it's brighter. So that way nobody's going to say, hey, you didn't hit the brakes or I didn't see them. BS. Now, right towards there, this is really cool. Attention to detail on small little things. Right through there, you're going to have the Chevrolet. And then on the opposite side, they actually did something a little bit different. This threw me off a little bit, but I thought that was kind of neat. Right over here, instead of the Chevrolet, you're going to have the bow tie on the right-hand side. Really awesome. Now, very similar to our Silverados, we're going to have that spoiler towards the rear. so it kind of gives it a little bit more of that sporty look to it as well. Right towards the back, you're also going to have your brake light there. Now this is really neat. You're probably noticing it's missing its windshield wiper. It's actually not. What's really neat about this design is they actually have a little hidden compartment for it right underneath there. If you can see it there, there's the wiper blade. What it's going to do is when it turns on, it's going to come halfway out, and then it's going to go ahead and clean things up. And then when it's resting, it'll sit here, but when it's completely off, it'll actually go ahead and tuck right back in. Really neat little setup. Those little hints of detail really make that experience a lot more of a luxury drive. Now, let's take a look back here. We're gonna have quite a few cameras on this new one. You're gonna have right to there, your backup camera there. And on these models, you're also going to have the HD 60 frames per second, which is awesome. Very clear, very fast. You're also going to see towards the bottom there those sonar sensors there as well for rear park assists. So you'll have those there. It's a really awesome looking SUV. Out of everything that General Motors has come out this year, and yes, a lot of people may hate me for saying this, but you haven't been in the inside. You'll stay tuned for the next episode of the Chevy Nerd to look inside. But when it comes to this ride, in comparison to everything else that General Motors has released, including, and I hate to say this, but including the Corvette, this has had a major redesign. And maybe I'm a little bit more particular to it because it's a vehicle that you see out and about all the time. So it's more something that you see every single day, and it's really had a huge revamp. A couple other things, if you look at the hood there, you see a little bit more of those textures, those lines right through there, really accentuating that hood there. It makes it look so much cooler in my opinion there. Okay, but I hope you guys come down. You gotta come check this thing out. It's a totally different beast in person. I think you guys will end up enjoying it. One of the other things I want to cover here real quick is right towards the front. You're gonna see some of those safety components right up there. You're gonna see the lane keep assist, forward collision detection right on there in that camera. Really, really awesome setup. But I don't know what you're waiting for. There's only two things that you need to do. First of all, you need to come and take a look at this brand new Chevy, and of course at the #1 dealership in the Western Slope at Beaux-Arts Chevrolet. Come check it out. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this.